Hey, everybody, and welcome to Boss Talks. We got episode 43 today. We have a great guest with Quiana Nguyen. She is with now CAPREIT, I believe is the way to properly say it. She is the marketing manager with them, and she is a lot of fun to talk to, and she has some fun hobbies. She didn't put it on the listing for the social media and all that, but she does have some fun hobbies that aren't necessarily related to multifamily, but they're nonetheless interesting and something to talk about for sure and learn about her also. So excited to dive into that. Today we're going to talk about things around the importance of marketing training and just being creative with your marketing when it comes to getting prospects and things for your multifamily community, and then also just the importance of customer service and building rapport. And I'm sure that goes all over the place, building rapport with your employees, but also with prospects and potential community members. So really great show for you today. But before we get there, I'm your host, Evan Happel. I'm with Community Boss. We have a great solution for you to manage your physical spaces, whether that's parking, amenities, or mapping. We got you covered. Roll that into an opportunity to generate some revenue. And I mean, what else could you ask for? So if you have any questions, let me know. I'd love to dive into that a little bit more with you. But today, it's all about Quiana. So let's bring her to the show.
Hi.
Hello. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And from what I understand, this is your first live, maybe first podcast type show you've been a part of.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. I love that. I love to allow people to have kind of a first go at it, and hopefully that's the first of a few more or many. So
Yeah.
want to make it a good
Cool.
experience and make sure that you want to keep doing those because they're fun. But
I-
today, before we really get into, the topics at hand, I'd love to just kick it off with a few questions. So, the first thing I like to ask is when it comes to building community, because we are community boss and I'm a fan of building community, how is it that you do that when it comes to your personal or professional life?
Well, for me, I think the biggest thing or the biggest way for me to try to build a community is by creating that rapport and making sure that um, listening and making people happy. I also like to try to do that with a little bit of humor. So
Yeah,
whenever I do meet somebody, I try to find out like what their interests are and make some sort of joke out of to make them laugh because I feel like that's a wonderful bridge for people.
absolutely. And I think in your personal life, from what I understand, you have some fun hobbies, one of which is modifying cars. And I can only
Yes.
imagine there's quite the community that you can build around that whole part of, I mean, it's a very niche thing, so there's a lot of people involved in that, and I'm sure you made a lot of friends in that world.
Yes, actually, between my husband and I, I would say we have quite a few friends, and we're part of a car club called Veda Mom, and we travel the United States or the Midwest at least,
Yeah.
and try to go to a couple of shows at least once or twice a year. And the people that we have met have become longtime friends. They're part of our wedding party even. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
been great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So when it comes to modifying cars, what are the aspects that you really enjoy about that?
So the major difference between me and my husband is I'm really into audio. So I like having some bass and
Okay.
my music in my cars. And for both of us, we do modifications for lowering our cars and having some really cool wheels, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
um, so for him it's more like low and slow is what we like to joke about. His car looks like it should be fast, but it's more of a cruising type of
Okay.
yeah.
Tricked you. we're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
we're just going low and slow. That's
for
fun.
sure.
And then you just like to be creative, from what I understand, when it comes to like more artistic aspects of things. So you like that part of it as well?
Yes, yeah. So I like the visual, the look. Um, my last car, because I did recently sell it, it had some lighting and infinity lights in the trunk and
Cool.
some mirrors. So when you looked at it, you saw yourself, but you also saw like lots of mirrors for your trunk in your trunk
Okay.
with
Okay.
also with my audio system that I had back there. So it was
Okay.
pretty
That's cool. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would not assume that about you.
no, yeah. It's always so funny when I accidentally share my desktop on one of my laptops and they're like, what is this? And I'm like, oh yeah, I modify cars. yeah,
Just, side there.
any given day you'll find me and my husband outside washing our cars and people are like, it's gonna rain tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, but it's dirty today. So
So you always are making them look nice, shiny, ready to be shown at a show, ready to
yeah.
go.
Even
Nice.
just, driving down the street, it's nice to have a clean car. So
Yeah. And so what cars do you guys have?
So he has a yellow Scion FRS, and I have my new car is a Lexus ES 350 F Sport. So that's the one that I'm currently doing my modifications for.
Okay. And then do you guys have an everyday driver too, or are these
Yes, we have we have a Honda Fit and we also have a Toyota 4Runner.
oh,
So
okay.
we have a collection.
Gotcha. Nice. And then you go all over the place to show these, right?
Yes, so we go to Tennessee. There was a car show in Ohio, but unfortunately we didn't make it to that one. But there's going to be a show in Missouri, which is where I'm at. There'll be a show later on this month, and it'll be in the fun parts of Missouri. And then we have Indiana. There was shows in Chicago. There are shows in Chicago, but I choose not to go to Chicago anymore.
Oh.
yeah. The roads are a little rough for me with that low and
Oh.
slow vehicle. Yeah,
Oh, okay. So do
yeah.
you drive them or you take them on a trailer?
We drive them. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So you got to make sure that there's no big
Yeah.
potholes or
Surprise
obstructions.
potholes or the street being under construction. And what Chicago has that we don't have in Missouri is they have speed humps.
Oh,
And yeah, so you actually you have to drive over a physical hump in the road. And
so it's one
it's
of
not a
those
speed bump, it's a speed hump.
driving, you have to drive at angles to get over them.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen people do that.
And it's almost a complete stop to try to make it over, so
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
One of our listeners, watchers is Stephanie. She's down in Miami. She says low and slow to her means barbecuing. And I guess in Missouri it would too, but
Yeah, I know exactly.
for you
yeah,
guys, totally different meaning.
completely.
That's
But
funny.
I still pick it up because yes, we do have some good St. Louis barbecue, so
Oh yeah, totally.
and
All
Kansas City
right.
barbecue.
Yeah. 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 I probably have some of the barbecue sauce that comes from your area.
Yeah.
Always makes it to the grocery stores out this way.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. All right. So next question. When it comes to making something segue for dinner for a friend that you have over, build some more community, what would you make?
For somebody that comes over, is it a surprise or do I
Oh
know
no,
them?
you thought of this ahead of time. You have this planned out, something special.
so, if I had to make something I would probably go for one of my sweets. I do like making brownies with like some peanut butter chips, and I also have a queso dip, which everybody seems to love, but um, I feel like that is something that I make quite often,
Mm,
so I never quite know.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Is it a queso blanco or is it a yellow queso?
it's a queso blanca.
Okay.
Yeah, and just like get the slow cooker out and do. It's really easy, but everybody seems to love it, so I make it often.
Yeah. I mean, I love a good cheese dip, so yeah, sign me up. Sign me up.
Yeah.
All right. And then finally, we're from Seattle.
Mhm.
Some might know us for being a coffee culture up here. So, what is it that is a go-to coffee drink? If there is a go-to coffee drink for you.
So I am a Starbucks rewards member. So
Okay. Okay. All right. So we got a coffee person.
yes, yes. So if it's, just a casual day and I have the opportunity for Starbucks and it's cold, then I'm basic. I get the white chocolate mocha.
Okay.
But recently I tried something new, and there's this drink called a paradise drink, and I get it with cold foam.
Okay.
It is all sugar, but I absolutely love it. It's so sweet. It's pineapple and coconut milk, and it is delicious. It's divine.
So pineapple
Uh-huh.
and coconut milk. Okay, I see the tropics through that. And
Yes.
then and is it like a cold brew?
No, it's a refresher. It's one of the refreshers.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's not coffee. It's like the energy
It's
drink
I tried
refresh.
something new.
Oh, okay.
I think it has caffeine in it. I don't know, but it's enough
Yeah,
sugar to still gear up your day. So even if it's
it sounds like it. So it has the refresher. Yeah, I think there's like white coffee. They extract the caffeine for those. So you
um
definitely are getting your caffeine for
yeah.
those. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm drinking. It's pretty and it tastes good. So
Okay. Nice. Nice. Yeah, it looks like the summer menu has dropped, Stephanie says. So, and
um
you're in good company. Victoria just said she went and got her used her 200 points today on her rewards,
oh yeah,
which
I love a reward.
Victoria, I thought you made all your coffee at home. So, that's a little all right. All right. I see that you're still dipping into Starbucks. All
Yeah,
right.
that's a talent I do not have. I've tried the machines and I get confused. So if she's making coffee at home, more power to her because that's a strong person.
That's funny. All right. I know, yeah. If they can just make it at home. Oh, traveling. Got it. So she's getting it while she's traveling. Yeah, I get
Ah,
that. You're not taking your coffee machine with you on the road. She's
that's
on
a,
the road and she's on the road a lot too. She's like
I was gonna say
like
that's a big carry on. So I don't know.
Oh man. Yeah. Sounds like
Yeah.
she's at the airport right now. Um well, thanks for answering. Looks like we have a little bit of a, I don't know if you can see, but if you look at the comments area on the side there, click on it, and you'll be able to see all the comments as we have an
Hey,
audience.
that's so nice.
Yes, we got some people on LinkedIn, also watching on YouTube, which is our first YouTube commenter. So that's fun. Looks like somebody that you might know.
Yes.
And they're joking around with you. Um,
Yes. That would be
yeah.
my uncle. He is
Okay.
because I have a son, my son's been trying to cut people's grass so he could be that little entrepreneur. So,
Mm, nice. Yeah,
yes.
that's great. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for answering those questions. Now we
Mhm.
can get into it. We've gotten our our nerves out a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And again, thanks everybody for joining us today and supporting Kiana. Really appreciate that.
thank you guys. I appreciate.
So you've been in the industry for how long now?
This will be my 13th year.
All right, 13 years. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And have you always been in marketing, or have you kind of started out like everybody else in the office?
It was one of those things. I believe one of your previous people, Alicia Holmes, had mentioned, people, you don't start off thinking you're going to be in property management, and then the next
Right,
thing you know, like, boom, it's your life.
right.
Yes. So a friend of a friend is how I got into the industry.
Okay.
So back 13 years ago, I was part of the job crisis. I don't know if you remember 2010, but there was a major job crisis, and I was a
Oh
part of
yeah.
that.
Okay.
So I was doing random jobs, and one of my car friends, like I mentioned, how there's a sense of community with my car friends, knew somebody, and they were hiring. And he was like, "Hey, are you still looking for a job?" And the funny thing is, it was the same community that I had just moved out of.
Oh
I
wow.
moved out of this community in June, and I was hired in September.
Okay.
So yeah, so
That's
it
fun. Well,
was
you knew it well.
yeah, it was a good start for me.
Yeah. And I
And
mean, you lived there for a while. Yeah, you moved out, but you knew the goods and the opportunity areas of the community.
yes. And
And
I
it
mean,
meant,
that's always a good selling point, right? When people
yeah,
are asking you, like, "Oh, would you live here?" And I'm like, "Guess what? I have lived here."
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's always a great
Now,
selling
now
point.
you just have to come up with a story as to why you moved out.
Oh, yeah. My go-to story was that I bought a house, but I
Okay.
did not buy a house back then.
That's a good way to shut it down.
Yeah.
That's smart. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I just bought a house. That's it. All
Yeah,
right.
that was the
End
reason
story.
why I left. Yeah. It
Yeah.
wasn't the
No.
job prices or anything.
Yeah. No, that's yeah. You don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Oh, was it bad here? Is it
Yeah. Yeah. So no, it was good. I started off as a part-time leasing associate, and I was working, less than 30 hours a week, and I just kept progressing from there. So,
Nice. And
yeah.
then how did you get into the role of marketing?
So, one of my positions, I was marketing manager, and then I went to become a regional admin,
Okay.
which is, the assistant to the regional.
Yeah.
Um, those cool shirts that you see sometimes, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Assistant to the regional manager, like Dwight on The Office. Totally.
Yes, yes. So, I one of my position part of my job when I was the regional manager, admin, was taking some of the marketing manager work that I was doing at my community, and then I applied it to the whole region. And my supervisor, who is still my current supervisor, had noticed what I was doing for my particular region, and she reached out to me and asked me to do a couple more things if I could help out a little bit more with the
Mhm.
marketing department. And from there, she then also asked me if I would be willing to also help with training for some of our new associates. The region that I was working with, our shop scores were great. Our resident events were wonderful. So she was like, "Can you help apply those ideas to other communities besides your region?" And I was like, "I'll give it a try."
All
So,
right.
and then I had fun with it. So,
Nice. Nice. So
yeah.
are a lot of those ideas even to this day things that you try to coach communities on, and kind of what you were alluding to here, I guess, training people in marketing and things like that?
Yes. So whenever I have conversations, so I still do training with, I try to do a quarterly training with all of CAPREIT. So
Okay.
every 3 months, there's a training for any of our new hires, anybody that is not the community managers. The community managers, they get a separate training. So assistant community managers, leasing associates, marketing associates, whichever you call them. And I try to have um, when I have these trainings, I one of the biggest questions I get is like, nobody shows up to my resident events. What are some things that I can do? And I'm like, well, are you doing just the basics, or are you actually inquiring what the residents want? What is it
Mm,
that they're interested in, besides just doing the I mean, obviously everybody loves a pool party, so that's a given, but
yeah.
maybe there's something that maybe your community specifically likes the wine and cheese, you know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe your community specifically likes bingo, but nobody in the office is thinking about bingo, you
Right.
know. So it's always nice to try to take some of the ideas that I've had in the past, but you want to make sure that there's some sort of innovation and um,
Yes.
relationship with your community that you can find out what they actually want. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
I have a long history in the event space, so I totally get what you're saying. You if you're just doing generic events and not really thinking about your it's a hard thing, right? Like we're quote unquote not supposed to be tracking demographics at our communities because, fair housing and everything. But at
Mhm.
the same time, like you got to pay attention to who is there. Yeah.
Well, I always like just doing Survey Monkey. It's
Uh-huh.
free and you can just send it out and it's anonymous and you be like, okay, here's 4 or 5 events. What is it that you guys want?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I see my
Yeah.
mom has popped up. So hi
Oh,
mom.
nice. Awesome. That's so great. Yeah, that's one of the nice things about doing this to YouTube as well, having a few other people, the non LinkedIn folks, give them an
Yes.
opportunity to jump in as well. So, thanks for joining, supporting your daughter. It's great.
Thanks.
Um, but yeah, I think events are a big deal, and I think so often people give up because people don't come to them, and a lot of times it can be the mix of the choice of event and also you just gave up. You stopped
Yeah.
doing them.
Well, one of the things I also try, and I don't want any of my associates because sometimes they take it personally when
Yeah.
somebody doesn't, or when the residents may not show up, and it is not you that they're choosing not to come to a party for, you know. So that's why it can be for anything. Um, finding out what they're interested in because it's not that you threw this party, you did all of this work, and they're like, oh God, I don't want to be here. No,
Yeah.
they're not doing that. So I like for people to, um, give them that option so they can grow too. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it's just about trying stuff. I mean, you sometimes you're surprised what would work. Bingo is usually pretty well attended. Like people like free stuff and prizes as long as your prizes aren't terrible.
Yeah.
Um
Yes. I know
but
it's
yeah.
surprising to me because I would say where I started, bingo would not fly.
Mm,
But, you know, at the same time, I had a community that was very big on transition. So it was always some sort of lifestyle change for a lot of the residents. And so the parties that they were interested in were the like pizza parties and selfie parties. So
mm,
where you just had an opportunity to let them take a selfie with a backdrop,
okay.
and those were the most simple things, but they
Yeah.
loved
Oh,
it.
that's fun. So what that's cool. Yeah, paying attention to trends and stuff. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
What would you say are some of the more innovative things that maybe between you and your communities you guys have thought of in regards to marketing?
So, something that recently one of my communities came up with on their own was a book club. And, it doesn't seem like, once again, it doesn't seem like it's a big idea,
Yeah.
but they have a great attendance for it. The residents are reading it, they are showing up, and once it's like once a month that they're doing it, and it's turned out to be fantastic. They offer, and it's really inexpensive. They have the book. The residents get the books themselves. Check it out from the library, whichever they're doing, and then they only provide like basic appetizers and some refreshments, and the residents show up, and I love that for them. One of the things that one of my communities in Tennessee has done is they had a Nerf war. And so they had people with, they provided some Nerf toys, and they were able to play against each other for like a good hour. And that was fun and exciting for them.
Oh,
So,
that's fun.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have thought of a Nerf war.
Yeah, I know,
That's
right?
yeah,
It was kind of
that's
like a
fun.
hide and seek type of thing.
Right,
Um,
right.
I do have a northern community that was doing back in, I guess it's during COVID times. It's still COVID times, but they were doing the painted rock thing, and they were able to go and hide that throughout the community, and people would find it and get a prize for that. So that's always nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, my video. Don't look at me. I'm apparently slow.
I can
Anyways,
see
yeah, yeah. Likes to
those
happen.
technical difficulties.
I know. Yeah. Guess we're just gonna have to roll with it. Anyways, but yeah, events are great. Speaking of events, I know it's your son's birthday, so I want to make sure you give a shout out to him.
Yes. Happy 15th birthday to my son.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. We'll be having a little tradition of singing and dancing over at my mom's house. And just want to make sure he has the best day ever today.
Nice. That's awesome. So, which car does he get to start driving?
He will have the Honda Fit. And it's a manual, so he's going to be learning the hard way first. So,
Oh, nice. No, that makes sense. That's good. That's good. You got to learn how to drive the most difficult car so that way, you can drive anything.
yes. I
That's
mean,
good.
most people don't know how to drive a manual anymore, unfortunately. So,
No, it's
but
true.
all the
Yeah,
cool kids do.
there are less manuals out there. That's for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. The more sporty the car, the more likely it'll be manual. So, we're
Mm,
setting him up, so he can have the cool car.
there you
I
go.
mean, he did promise me when he gets older, he's gonna buy me a McLaren when he gets older. So
Wow.
I was like,
Nice.
okay, I'm gonna hold you to that.
So he's shooting high for the whatever job he's gonna have. That's all right. There we go.
Yes.
Going with the McLaren. All right. Like it. He's got goals.
Yes, I know.
That's good.
I can only hope I can help him obtain all of them. So
Yeah. Yeah. And then kind of tied to like, being innovative and training and everything, you were just focusing on the aspect of in order to keep people reduce turnover and stuff, the training aspect is super important. And is that a part of your job, is training?
yes.
Yeah.
One of the things, so like I mentioned, I have the quarterly training that I do. And I try to make sure that my training adjusts for all of the learning styles, whether somebody's hands on, having a book, having to write. the different type of learning styles. But one of the things that I found is when people understand what their role and expectations are, they tend to have, well, obviously they have a better comprehension of it, but they come up with more innovative ways to do their position. And you just never know that the person that is fully trained today might come up with some sort of new way to do something that will boost the company, boost the property that they're at. And honestly, I think that's one of the most beautiful things about training somebody, is because it opens your eyes as well, because you're like, I really did not think of it that way. Like, we may have our own set of rules and our unique ways that we do something at each community, and being able to share those trainings with other communities is, I feel that it boosts the company, boosts morale, and it boosts the employee themselves. Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, anytime you have new people and they have new perspectives, it's always good to hear from them.
Yes.
So, what are some things that you've been kind of surprised about when it comes to bringing in somebody new? And is there anything that ever like really stood out to you, their perspective, especially if they came from somewhere outside of the industry, I guess?
Yeah. So I will say one of the interesting things is when you have a, what's the word I'm looking for? So when you have to close somebody and you're doing that pre-closing process,
Yeah.
um, and they're all like little subliminal messages that we're giving to the prospect, right? One of the things I try to do, I have a quiz at the end of my training, and I try to have them do a what makes you stand out from them. And it's an open-ended question, but they have to provide for me something outside of my training, the expectations that I have set forth, where you're going beyond whatever that is. And sometimes they give you the most beautiful things. And one of those is, this person had um, they come to the door, and then they're just like, you know what, why don't you open the door to this, to your future home? And so they
Oh,
hand them the model key or the unit key, and they have them open the door, and then they say, when the person opens the door, they say, welcome home. And I was just like, oh, that's so beautiful. you know and it's something that most people don't think about, because you're so used to walking your tour path. You open up
mm,
the door, you let them inside, you start going on to your description spiel of how this community is beautiful or this unit is beautiful, which is
right.
all, grand and dandy. But what makes you stand out from the other people is that little innovation and ideas that you might have.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a good idea.
Yeah, because
And
it's like, welcome home, like.
right. Yeah, and I think being more like lighthearted and the whole, building rapport, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, you brought that up as something important, and I think it's totally legit in being important because when you are talking to somebody and they seem nervous or they're stressed because they're finding a new home or whatever, if you're asking questions and like trying to bring down their, I guess their stress level by showing you're listening to their concerns or their wants, um, and then icing on the cake, here's your new home, right?
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah, one of the things that I try to do whenever I do tours or when I was on site, and I try to help my new associates learn about, is when you find something that they are interested in. Um, Most people, when you find out if they have a pet, or you find out that they read books, or you find out any of these things that they have, you can use that as an opportunity to grow with them.
Hmm.
And especially if your apartment has something that you know what they would absolutely love. So one of the things that I used to joke about when I go on a tour and I find out somebody reads books, or I found out they're a Harry Potter fan. There was this one apartment that we had that had a section underneath the stairs. And so I would make a comment that that's where Harry Potter is going to be living. Because when Harry Potter was on, which was super popular back then, um, he lived at the Dursley's house underneath the stairs. So I made that joke. They laughed. They loved it. This was their favorite apartment.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember you mentioning you yourself have a love for reading and have quite the bookshelf of different books. So
Yes.
that helps you have imagination too, right? Like,
Yes.
and also pull from different things to build rapport, be able to, bring different anecdotes and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, I like to make sure that, or whenever I do talk to my new associates, I was like, you may not have something that's like a perfect match for them, but there should be some like go to conversations that you could have. And, books, pets, the local sports. I'm in St. Louis, so we're always talking about the Cardinals. And
yeah,
then, once again, being a Midwesterner, we always talk about our weather. So whether you're in the north and it always snows, or you're in Florida and it's got the random rains every 5 seconds, there's
yeah.
always something that you can laugh and joke about with your prospect.
Although Florida, I hear it's 4 o'clock on the dot every day during the rainy season, which is right now, I think. And
Oh,
everybody I've known there, they're like 4 o'clock without fail, it rains.
I was just in Florida and I think it did rain like right in the middle of the afternoon. It felt like,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And we're
Yeah.
just like, what is happening? It was
Right.
beautiful.
Yeah. And it's a crazy rain too. It's like the sky falls.
Yes. I mean, I would have been concerned as me, the Missourian. I was concerned. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a bad storm. And everybody else was like, eh.
Yeah.
It's another day in paradise.
No, it's just this is how we get our water. I
Yeah,
mean, honestly, they probably get more rain than we do up here in Seattle, but they
really.
just get it in like 20 minutes at 4 o'clock every day.
Yes. It was a good downpour. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So where do you guys have a little bit of humidity, right? Up
Oh, yeah.
in,
Yeah,
oh
we have
yeah.
community.
So where's your humidity come from then? Compared to Florida, they have all this like the rains and this and that. Like where it's just
I
there.
don't know. I think there's like some sort of funnel effect. I don't know. We're pretty dry with the plains and,
Yeah.
barely any hills. We have some in the south, but barely.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, there's not much. I mean, we have the Mississippi and the Missouri rivers, so there's not much water that can contribute to it. So I don't know.
Right. It's just your luck of the draw. You have
Yeah,
humidity.
yeah, we
You're
have
lucky.
we get all 4 seasons. So
Oh, okay. Nice. Well, it's good to have seasons. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
Florida doesn't really have seasons. They don't know what that is.
yeah.
We most of the time have seasons. We don't really get snow though. It's like barely here most of the time.
Really, you would
It's
think of
very
North.
it's very hit or miss. Like we might have a day of snow, we might be at a dusting, but it's definitely not a blizzard. We don't get
Didn't you
this.
guys just get all of that ice? You had like a big ice storm.
Well, if it snows, it usually turns to ice, and then
Uh,
we have a lot of hills, so then it's terrible.
yeah, I've seen
So
the TikToks where they were everybody in Washington was sliding down.
sliding down a hill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's true. It's a true story.
Yeah.
It's basically, and that's why the joke is nobody knows what to do when it snows because we get it so rare, and then all of a sudden it's ice, and then we can't drive, and then it's just like we relearn how to drive every year. It's
Oh
great.
gosh. Well, we don't know what to do when it snows either, and it snows every year. So
Yeah, yeah,
if it's
but
more than 2 inches, oh goodness.
yeah, the world is ending.
Yes.
So one thing when we talked previously, you did kind of tied to gaining rapport and stuff, but really getting new people, um, thinking outside the box in like getting prospects to come to your community. Was there any like ideas you wanted to share with people that you've come up with that of being able to drive traffic? Because I know that's, especially right now, a definitely an important thing.
Yes. Outreach is a very interesting topic for it's an ongoing thing. You have your tried and true outreach ways, which is, going to your preferred employers, handing out flyers. But one of the things that I like for to bring up to people is sometimes it's not, I mean, once you've done all of the big,
Right.
overhang type of thing,
Do the basics.
yeah, do the
Yep.
basics. But like, have you considered having a conversation with that gas station attendant down the street? Have you considered having a conversation with the local Starbucks? Like, can you put up some flyers there? Can you put up a trifold? Can you put up, just a QR code that makes it available? But something for you to have these conversations with, because the amount of people that that gas station attendant has coming through his building is
Yeah.
all opportunities to touch somebody or have that conversation, or at least for them to think, I may not be moving, but there is a community down the street from me.
Hmm.
um, and I also am a believer of doing invites for people to come to your community. If you're having an open house, if you're having one of those resident retention events, having people, letting the neighborhood also know that you're having this, so they can see that sense of community that your community has. um,
Yes.
yeah, and those are, plus it's fun because now you also have more people coming, and
Hmm.
that's a good thing as well.
Yeah. No,
And
I think that's good. Like when you have events, you might as well maximize them, invite more people. And
yes.
then like you said, people can see that, oh, this is a community that's having fun and people get to know each other and build a sense of community, and
Yeah.
this is better than just,
Um,
nothing going on.
Having Facebook live events at your events are awesome. Also a great idea. And
Interesting.
having utilizing your social media obviously is, people pay attention to the fact that you're using it, the content that you're putting out there. But when
Hmm.
you go Facebook live, or if you're, having, I'm not sure if people use Snapchat anymore, but when you can use that filter that this community is active, um,
Hmm.
people, your friend of a friend of somebody that's connected to the page is getting notified.
Yeah.
So even if it's just, you have a page with maybe 500 people on it, those 500 people are getting notified. Then you have an additional amount of people that are getting notified because they're connected to that person. So your outreach for that can be into, the hundreds to the thousand, and it's a simple thing. It's a simple free thing that can impact you.
Right. Yeah. If you have a fun event going on, people are having fun, might as well show that that's happening.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You don't necessarily have to show the people. You can show the music. You can show the
Mm,
pool. You can, because not everybody wants to show who's living there, but you can
right.
show, like, if you have face painters at your event, you can show them and what they've done. It's just
Yeah.
little things like that.
Yeah. But I wouldn't count out the people because it's always fun to see smiling faces. So
Yeah.
if you just ask them ahead of time, hey, do you mind if I go live and
Yeah.
you're in the shot?
We do have a social media thing that we ask people if they're interested in, like, hey, are you aware? like we like to take pictures. We like to, showcase our community. Is it okay for social
Hmm.
media purposes? So we do have that.
Right.
But I know not everybody enjoys that. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, it's always good to ask because
yeah,
you don't want a resident getting mad at you because you put them on Instagram or TikTok or something.
yeah, yeah.
Have any of your communities used TikTok effectively?
Yes. Well, so Instagram and TikTok are the ones that are, TikTok's growing. I would not say that we have that great following that we would, we haven't gone viral yet or anything.
Hmm.
But we had a community that is utilizing it. They do have like a little bit of a younger demographic that works and lives there. And
Okay.
so they're really into it and they utilize it in fun ways like, what is it? The Family House, or what's that old TV show?
Full
Uh,
House?
Full House. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, where you know how they like introduce people, so they introduce the office,
Oh yeah.
they show the maintenance team picking up something from the grounds and they freeze. Yeah. Those are always fun to see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And one of our communities, they even did a dance off. So it was the marketing associates against the maintenance team dance off,
Okay.
and they got to, whichever one, the team got ice cream. So, but they did that for themselves. It was fun for them, and
Sure, sure.
and then bragging rights, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, to a degree it can be just a fun thing for activity for the people that work there to do.
Yeah.
Um and that, may or may not drive traffic, but it's still like a fun way to get the community or the people that work there to work to do something together that's kind of entertaining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, I'm a big advocate for whatever can build morale. So I like
Yeah.
doing activities together and, being able to close the office for an hour and having a little breakfast brief to go through everything. I love those. So,
Yeah.
and plus free donuts. Who doesn't love
Oh gosh.
that?
Yeah. I definitely love a donut. Yeah, it's
Yes.
a problem. We had a donut shop open next to my house, like one of those, you know, local places that
Uh,
does the ridiculously big donuts with bacon on them and stuff.
oh, yeah, that'll be trouble.
And I was there every week, and it was a problem.
Yeah.
I've tamed that down. The newness is worn off, and I don't go every week, so
Yeah,
it's
I
good.
was a sucker for Krispy Kreme for a good minute there. Every time they had a special, I was bringing the office, here's a dozen donuts, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And but I also did that with the maintenance team, that if I got caught with some sort of sale or special that was happening nearby, and Burger King might have buy one croissant sandwich, get a croissant sandwich free. Like I was, here's the other croissant sandwich. So
Nice.
I love free food. So
Nice. I mean, who doesn't need two of the same sandwich? I
you're right.
mean,
You're right. I mean, it could be lunch. I could keep it for lunch.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, as long as you can keep it cold or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on and sharing some of your knowledge when it comes to marketing and everything, and also diving into some of your personal life when it comes to modifying cars. That's super fun.
Yes. Yes.
Anybody that jumped on a little late, make sure you go back and listen to the front of the show so that you can learn about Quiana's love for car modifications and traveling around and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
yeah. Well, thank you again so much for being on Boss Talks. Thanks for everyone that joined today. And just like Quiana jumped on, first time going live, being on Instagram, and we're not on Instagram. What am I even saying? We used to be. We're on LinkedIn, and we go live to a group on Facebook, the official apartments and maintenance support group. And then also we're on YouTube. which
Yeah.
is where her parents or her mom and
My
uncle
uncle.
are watching from, which is fantastic. Love it.
Yay. Thank you
Uh,
guys.
and one last shout out to her son, 15th birthday.
Yes.
I my thoughts and prayers go out to you
I
on
know.
this journey of new driving.
Yes. The patience that I'm going to have to learn.
Absolutely. No, it is. It is. I remember when my mom was teaching me, and yeah,
Yeah.
she freaked out a few times. I'm like, what? I'm learning.
Yeah. You got to use the brake more often, as was
Yeah.
my.
Yeah. I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But just like she jumped in first time, it's fun.
Yeah.
If you haven't done it, get a hold of me. I'd love to have you on the show and talk about your passions, your knowledge, the things you have to share with this great industry, multifamily. And until next Wednesday, it's been Boss Talks number 43. And thanks for watching.
Thank you guys. Thank you.